This is your boy Manny J, and I am back with my guy Tree of Life, and you are listening to Conversations with Manny J. All right, so Tree, let me ask you, man. So, what's been one of the hardest decisions you had to make in your fashion career? Well, no, excuse me, in your career, fashion, art, whatever.
Hardest decision I had to make? I think the hardest decision I had to make was realizing that my mind and the mind of the public is not on the same plane. I needed to make stuff for other people and stop trying to make stuff that I felt needed to be out there. Sometimes you gotta give people what they want first in order to give them what they need. And since so much of my stuff came from like a basis of a lot of thought and dimensionality with it, like because I came from like that background of being preached to and being taught that if you live like this, then you can get that. So that always was in the back of my mind. So I'm like, I could fix the world with my art.
Right.
I could fix the world with my music. And I was always trying to take on this task of like changing the world and changing people. And then I was like, I can't change. This is so big.
Right.
I'm going to be changed.
Right.
It's like Pac said, either I'm going to be changed by the world or what was his quote? I can't remember his quote exactly, but he was saying something to the effect of either I'm going to change the world or be changed. Yeah, it's going to change him.
Yeah.
And that's what it did. Like he started out way different than how he ended.
Oh, yeah.
Because the world would do that to you. And I seen the world doing that exact same thing to me, but I start catching it.
Yeah.
And I start being like, all right, I can't let that take me over. I can't let it possess me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Yo, so it's funny because I remember I've seen that transition in you, and how can I put it? As your friend, it was a interesting, but I didn't approve of the shift at first, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because what I love about you is the fact that you have that heart. But also as just learning and watching the shift, I'm a firm believer. My grandmother told me a long time ago, she said, sometimes you don't have to say something. All you got to do is just listen, sit back, and watch. And I think that's what a lot of wise people do. Sometimes they just sit back and just watch. Yeah. And so as I've watched that shift in you and everything, I still see that you have the same meaning and the same message. You just finding a different way to deliver. Yeah. You know, just as when you started, you was dope, and the things that you was spitting and the revolutionary the revolutionary type of approach you was taking with it was just as important as the way you're taking the approach now. But I think what you said is very important, because if you don't be careful, you're sitting back trying to change things and change people. You miss all the things that's changing you, because you're sitting there thinking, okay, well, I'm this person, and I'm here, and I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. You've seen those people that point, but then you find yourself sometimes in your own closet dealing with your own demons and dealing with your own experiences, and you're challenged. Why? Because you're trying to be this perfect guy, but like, I'm not perfect. Yeah. I'm an imperfect individual, but you know what? If I focus on being the best person that I can be, if I focus on being true to who I am, and if I don't try to change every bad thing at one time or everything that is not approved, because in life we go through different seasons and sessions that helps us grow to where we can let this grow. We can let this drug go. We can let this go. You can let this person go. We can let certain things go as we evolve. But we have to come to that realization that it's important for us to evolve to understand that. So my point of saying that is, I've seen that evolution in your music, but I've seen that evolution in you as a man. And that's why I'm elated as your friend, but also just as a fan and a supporter, because that's how you're going to change. That's how you're going to get that same effect that you wanted to get in the beginning, because now you can come across being more genuine. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because you acknowledge what you got going on with yourself, and you have to acknowledge yourself first. I got a line on one of these records I got a record with ELO, and at the end of the record I say something like, I changed my mind and changed the world. You know, because if you change your mind and start thinking differently, people are always looking and they are always watching. Somebody always imitating you
Yeah.
and trying to be like you. So if you do what you need to do for yourself, the world will follow. Quit worrying about what everybody else is doing, and don't try to fix what everybody else is doing, because that just shows how broken you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything is internal.
Right.
We have the blessing of being external with different individuals and getting to connect with them, but then we get it confused and think that everything is external, because that's what gets pushed in mainstream society, because it's a tool to get your mind out of, because everything, to me, everything is spiritual, bro. Like, the war that we are dealing with on a daily basis is a mental war. That's why, like, if you wake up and you feel a certain way, like, it starts here and then you move on. Like, somebody could piss you off, right? You could decide to take that anger and you can give it to another person that don't deserve it, or you could leave it where it was at. Like, I know a lot of people that get mad at work and they'll take their work anger home to the people that love them, and then be mean to the people that love them, and then go back to work in front for the people that pissed them off and act like they like them. You know what I'm saying? Like, what sense do that make?
I know that.
So it's basically just trying to figure out, with me, as far as where I'm going with life, it all boils down to the vibration.
So what do you do right now to take care of yourself, like your health consciousness as well as your mental consciousness and things like that? What do you do to take care of that?
Well, I stopped eating as much meat as I used to eat. Like, I rarely eat meat now. I drink a lot of water. You know, I don't really drink too much juice unless I'm like having a drink or something like that. I'll get up every morning and I run and I work out, and I've been doing that for a month now. You know what I mean? I've been like getting myself back together. You know what I mean? And
have you seen a difference?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
More motivated,
more
focused.
Yeah, man. And then listening to good content. Like, I'll be listening to Earl Nightingale.
Okay.
And I put it on like all the time, because a lot of people think they can listen to something one time and they gonna remember it. One thing that I did take from being a Jehovah's Witness is repetition is everything.
Right.
If you can constantly repeat something to somebody, they gonna believe it eventually.
Right.
So if you tell somebody, even if it don't make no sense, if you say it every day, it'll seem like it makes sense.
Right.
Until the right person come along and be like, hey, you know that's stupid, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll take that, because the repetition is a program.
Right.
That's why you watch TV programs, bro.
And that's why you have to be careful what you put in the universe, what you put in your minds, what you put in other people around you. I've been on a different journey since the beginning of this year as well, and I'm still on the journey. So ain't no way I'm nowhere near there, and definitely not. But I will tell you this: part of that journey has opened me up to accept a lot more of not what the world has to offer me, but more what I have to offer the world, and being more comfortable and aware of doing that, but not from a standpoint of where I feel like the world owes me something. It's more from a standpoint of what I feel like I owe the world.
Man.
Because that's why God has me here, and that's what my existence is. And this is what this podcast and this whole entire movement of everything that I have going on is really about. It's my lifestyle. And it's more of me accepting that lifestyle and being, just being true to that shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just being who I am, but it's nothing wrong with loving people and being a person that comes from that, and there's nothing wrong wanting to have a conversation with people and figure out, well, what makes you different from me? Because if somebody said something to me about racism, right? And they was just like, racism shouldn't exist, and white people is this and people are that, and I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with any of that shit. Because I'm going to tell you, if you never really sat down with someone and actually had a conversation to understand their experience, then you cannot understand how they feel and what their views are. Because we all are taught different things. So at the end of the day, yeah, the racism does exist and things like that is very true. But you have to be willing to listen to someone and their experiences in order to come to a different. You might not necessarily agree, but there's a respect level there to actually appreciate and everything. And then you never know. You may teach that person something, and they may teach you something, and that's where I feel like change actually does occur when people are both willing to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be able to listen to what people got going on, man. Like, I think that's very important, because if you are making a product for somebody, you need to know what you're making for them. So, like, we out here trying to sell to people. We're not selling to ourselves.
Right.
So you test the market, put stuff out there, see what people want to hear, what they want to, and then once you get their attention, then they'll listen to you. You know what I mean? Like, people will build up their career. Like, Kanye got to a point where he got so big where people will listen to whatever he say. Right now, they ain't liking what he's saying right now. But they still listening. They still paying attention. They still commenting on it. They still posting memes. Like, he still got their attention.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you can really never get rid of a person until you decide not to pay him no attention. The biggest thing that you could do to hurt somebody is to not pay him no attention.
Right, exactly. And just not really to get too much in the Kanye thing, but Kanye has his own opinion. Kanye's being Kanye.
Yeah.
And whatever his indifferences is or whatever his opinion is, that's what it is. But people ain't going to stop buying Yeezys right now.
Nah.
I don't see that changing. You know what I mean?
And you never know. Like, he might be doing this as a way to get people to think outside their frame of thought. He might not be like, I really mess with Trump like that. I don't know what's in this man's mind.
Right.
I got a lot of conspiracy theories about what I feel goes on in Hollywood.
Oh, of course.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna get into all of that, but
yeah, we could definitely have that conversation.
We can have that conversation another time. But like I say, like, everybody does something for a reason, and all of these people belong to a certain club, man. It's like a club, bro.
Right,
like,
it's a club.
Yeah, it's the people that's in and the people that's out, and you have a boss.
Right.
Whenever you make a bunch of money, you have a boss. Unless you making that money yourself, unless you independent and you bringing all that money in yourself, then you gotta do things, man.
Yep. Yep. And when you're in a certain position, probably like Kanye is, for a couple reasons. Kanye knows that he has a platform. He knows that people will listen to him. He knows he got an album dropping. He knows people's going to pay attention to whatever he say. He doesn't care if people like what he says. Yeah. That's what I love about Kanye. He really doesn't care what you think about what he says, but he's going to tell you what he said, what he feels. Yeah. And you have to respect the person that comes from that angle. You don't have to necessarily agree, but you got to respect it. And I think that's where even Trump, you don't necessarily have to agree with him, but you gotta respect, because he's telling you who he is. Yeah, he's showing you and he's showing the country that he's not the only person that thinks like this. So it's an eye opener for everybody. It's an eye opener, everything. And I honestly tell people, man, I was like, you know what? From this is not a political show at all, but I'm like, yo, from that particular standpoint, he's actually improved the country and the way people's mindsets has been thinking, because guess what? More people are setting out. More people are speaking out. More people are
interested in what their lives is about. They're like, well, what is politics? Like, they got questions now. Before they ain't really had questions. They was secure, feeling like they was safe.
Right.
And now people don't feel safe no more.
Right.
So that could be a reason why he feel like, oh, I like this dude. He made people realize we not safe because we not safe. Right. I don't know. I'm not him. You know what I mean? All I can do is say, like, for myself, I've always been into all of these things.
Right.
And to see so many other people be into it and be interested and start learning about how the country actually work, what money actually is, and stuff like that, because that's important. We run out here trying to get money every day and don't even understand what it is.
The currency, it's a note. It's a federal. It's a note. It's a promise. It's a promissory note, and we can get into all of that later. But so was there any moment that you actually experienced some type of rejection, and that kind of was disguised in a way that shifted whatever experience that you was trying to kind of manage at that time?
So many times. I think being rejected is probably the most beautiful thing that can happen to anybody.
Okay.
Because through rejection, it makes or breaks you. You either gonna figure out how to get around that rejection and find your path where you're trying to get, or you just gonna sit there and you're gonna be a loser and you're gonna let somebody else win that probably deserve to win more than you.
So when has that happened where it actually shifted to be a blessing in disguise for you?
When I went through that period of time when I was telling you I was homeless, I was with a girl at the time. I'm not gonna mention her name. You know who she is. That situation fell apart. I mean, I felt like I lost everything at that time. And like I said, I didn't have no support really from like my home base. So I had to deal with everything on my own and in my own head. And I'm like, damn, that's when reality hit me. Like, you alone in this world. Nobody can save you. Like, I got arrested one time on the train, and the police officer baited me into getting arrested. Like, he basically asked me to come talk to him. And you know how they used to have those lines? I don't know if they have many more on the train.
Yeah.
Where like they say, don't cross this line if you ain't paid for a ticket.
Yeah.
And so I literally said, hey man, I'm getting my ticket right now. I'll come talk to you after I get my ticket. He's like, no, it's fine. I'm asking you to come here. And then when I went over there, he said, you know you weren't supposed to cross that line, right?
What? Get the hell out of here.
Swear to God.
True story.
True story. You know what I'm saying? And I was working as a security guard at the time. So I had my security uniform on. I'm thinking like, he probably just come ask me a question about Warner Brothers or something. That's why I was working at the time. And put me in handcuffs and everything because I wouldn't sign the ticket. Because I'm like, bro, I didn't do nothing wrong. Then a black officer came over there to intervene and tried to be like, hey, man, do you got your ticket? I'm like, no. I was getting my ticket. He was like, do you have money for a ticket? I was like, yes. He was like, man, go get your ticket. And then the other officer said, this has nothing to do with you. Go away. And, like, the guy went away. And I was like, this is what you became a cop for? You joined the force so that you can have no say in nothing? So then when one of your people is out here being persecuted and treated wrongly, you can't do nothing about it, and they still going to tell you to move away like you just another nigga?
Right. All right, bet. So
that
look,
was that experience.
Yo, that's a crazy experience. Yo, so but it became a blessing later on for you.
Yeah, because I seen how real everything was and how fast things can switch up in a moment.
Real quick.
And people think that everything is like, it's a fairy tale. We watch too many movies.
That's true.
It's not a fairy tale.
Yo, that's true. Yo, so anyway, man, that's a great place to put a pin in it and everything. You all will be right back. Stay tuned.
I just roll my window down. I just roll my I just roll my window down. When I'm riding around the town, I just roll my window down. I just roll my I just roll my window down.
So listen, everybody, we are back live right here with Manny J Style, right here with my man Tree of Life.
Yes,
and yo, Tree, real quick, man. So we're gonna wrap this up in a very few seconds. But listen, tell me what defines success for you, man?
Success, man. Success for me is having a goal set in your mind of what you want to accomplish, and then every day waking up and doing something to accomplish that goal.
So give me 3 people that you would say is successful to you.
You're a successful person to me. I feel like I'm a successful person. I think, what's another person that I feel like is successful? I work for a company called Dreesy Advertising, and my boss, I feel like he's a very successful dude.
Okay.
Because he knows what he wants, and he goes for it every day, regardless of what anybody thinks. He makes the moves that he needs to make himself successful and to make his company flourish. And what you do is the same thing. You take steps, you learn, you constantly change. Whatever you need to do, you alter yourself to move into different dimensions and different zones. And I do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like that's why I dropped this record first. Most people that know me know that ain't the type of record that they would initially expect coming from me. You know what I mean? The repetitiveness, and it sounds, it sounds now. You know what I mean? But the thing is I'm not gonna be dumb and just give people something that they not gonna listen to. I'm spending money on this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this is a business, man.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you something that's dope. I'm gonna still give you my soul, but I'm not gonna give you stuff that you ain't ready for.
Right.
It's like you ain't gonna give a child a big old huge book with a bunch of big words to read when they can't even read a Dr. Seuss book.
Right. The world's not ready to process what Bruce Stevens, A Tree of Life, has to give to them and everything.
Gotta get it in sections, baby.
Hey, you know what? Kendrick's doing the same thing, and I feel like he has people's ears, he has people's hearts, he has people's attention. So when he can, Kanye did it. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna do it. You know, and you are, and so. We've already touched on fashion, we touched on arts, we touched on a little bit of philanthropic stuff, but not as much. But the whole show is based around taking your creativeness and using it to fulfill a philanthropic purpose. So if you had particular one or some type of organization or something that you would want to contribute to help shift or shape, what would that be?
Well, I definitely have an idea to go back to Detroit and put together a program for the inner city kids and the urban youth, and a lot of the little kids that look like me and you, and put together something that actually helps them be more creative so that they have an outlet. I feel like a lot of kids get into a bunch of crazy stuff because that's all they see is crazy stuff.
Right.
They see it from the patterns that they parents might have, and then they see it from their neighborhood, and then they watch it on TV.
Okay.
Like in Stupid Shit, I had a line about how we grew up watching Friday, and sitting on a porch with the homie, drinking a 40. So that became something that was cool to do,
Right.
because we seen it on TV, and they was rich, and they was doing it, and it would just seem like it was some cool shit to do. Sagging your pants, some cool shit to do, because you seen somebody on TV doing it, but then they turn around and start pulling us over for having our pants hanging down when they just allow people to make movies to show this image. You get what I'm saying? So I want to go back and I want to do something to change the imagery.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like what they try to do with Black Panther is trying to change the imagery for what little black children have seen as far as like superheroes and stuff goes or whatever. We have to be those superheroes. We got to be real ones though. We can't like take them out of the universe sometimes. Sometimes we got to bring it right back down to earth, and I think that starting a foundation like that, the Brilliance Foundation, is something that I want to start in Detroit. It'll definitely be out here because I'm out here,
Right,
but that's something I want to start in my city because my city has a lot of animosity and a lot of it's a war out there. It's just
Right.
like Chicago, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it's a lot of people that died. When I went out to Inkster, like maybe a couple years ago, I was driving back to my dad's house and I seen a body in the middle of the street, just lying there off a bike and just bloody. And I heard the sirens, and I'm like, wow, somebody just shot that dude, and it was a kid.
Wow.
So I want to go back and I want to make changes like that.
So is that something that you inspired to do, through with your music?
Most definitely.
Definitely.
I just think that it's important, like I spoke about earlier, to set my example first and just
Okay.
show people who I'm about,
Okay.
what I'm about, and what I'm doing, and then go from there.
Dope. Well, one thing that I think that I would love to actually have you partner up with me on, definitely, we definitely gotta do some brilliant stuff. Oh man, this is something that was really cool. One of the guys, we just did our Hope Healing event not too long ago, and one of the guys I donated some stuff, and one of the guys got my Brilliance hat.
Oh, word.
Yeah, and I didn't want to give it up, but I swear to God I didn't. But I was cleaning out my closet and I got rid of a lot of my stuff, dog.
Yeah.
And so I know what that hat means, and I know you, so I can get a Brilliance hat anytime.
Yeah.
But I know you, and when I did it, when I was donating, he picked it up. I actually got a video. I sent it to you.
Alright.
I was like, "Yo, that's my man." He was like, "Man, this is the dopest hat I've seen," and it was just a burgundy hat with Brilliance on it.
Yeah.
And I said, "Why is it dope?" And he said, "Because, man," he's like, "it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel brilliant. It makes me feel brilliant."
That's dope.
And it touched my heart because he is inner city black young man, dancer actually. He's a dancer, so you might see him on Dancing one day. But he felt inspired by that hat, and it was something that I was inspired and led to share. So what I'm saying is, what I would love for you to do, man, one day we're gonna be doing a back to school thing in August with this organization that works with foster and homeless youth. I love to have Brilliance, the whole team, ELO phase. I love to have you all presence. Maybe we can do like a little, couple songs for the kids and everything,
Most definitely.
and then definitely do some cool Brilliance merchandise. Because I think that's a place where we can start, because we're here. It's nothing too much out of the day, out of our time, and it's unity. You know what I mean? And when I saw what that means, and Brilliance, because you didn't really talk about Brilliance, but Brilliance stays driven is an acronym that can live in people forever when they really process what it is. And I definitely feel it's something that's going to live in youth Because right now your following is the homies and your friends and everything, but who you're really going to be talking to and speaking to is this younger generation. And if they understand what brilliance is, then they can live brilliant.
Yeah.
You dig?
Yeah.
So, so speaking of merch, I know that you got a little something that you wanted to promo tonight. So, I wanted to give the people an opportunity, and you can tell them what you got going on and everything with this.
All right, so this is the Windows hoodie that I did. This is a crap hoodie I did for the ladies, but I got these for the guys too. But basically, it's just the whole song Windows. Like I kind of explained earlier, I don't know if we was on live or if we did it on here, but the song is basically about the windows to the soul, and so this hoodie basically just says the eyes are the windows to the soul. So for people that listen to the song and they just vibing out, gigging to it, not understanding what the song really means, that's where the whole thing is coming from.
Put it on here so people can see that.
Most def. So yeah, this is one of the pieces that I just did like actually the other night, and started putting it out on Instagram and seeing what people's response and things of that nature was. And so I'm doing everything right now with these Windows hoodies are on a case-by-case basis. So people order them, I put the order in, I do it for them, and that's how we rocking right now for this particular thing.
All right, so listen. So what we would like to do here, you know, saying if you listen to this podcast, you follow Brilliance, Tree of Life. You
follow Brilliance Limited. It's Brilliance LMTD. And if you follow that, that's the clothing line that I'm a part of. And then you follow me, that's Tree of Life. And I told you how to spell it earlier, TREEOFLYFE. And you follow me on Instagram, and I'll give some type of a discount for everybody who hits me up. You got to DM me and let me know, hey, I followed you for Manny's conversations with Manny, and then we'll give you like a 20% discount or something like that. And I'll still put in the order, and you'll get something custom.
Hey, I love that, you all. So there it is. You got it. So you all go hit them up and everything. We'll put the information in our show notes. And yeah, man, and check it out. You all go download Windows. It's on everything. Tell them again, B.
Windows is on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on Tidal, it's on Napster. It's everywhere. Wherever you look, it should probably be there. So on your streaming, whatever your streaming program or platform, whatever it is, whatever you like the most, just check for it, type in Tree of Life, Windows, download that joint, bump it, play it for everybody.
And follow Tree, man. He, like I said, he got some really dope music. I can't wait for you all. Go check out the mixtapes. Go check out his art. He does all his visuals. You know, and this is a really talented brother. I'm telling you, if you don't get on this right now, you're going to be mad and you're going to be looking. Because I remember when Kendrick was performing on Fairfax, and look how big he is now. And that wasn't that long ago. It was probably about 8-9 years ago. And look how big he is now. And he's been rocking for a long time. So he's definitely he's a force to be reckoned with. He has a lot to say, and he's opened up people's windows. So without any further ado, we're going to let you hear a little bit more from Windows. Stay tuned. You're watching Conversations with Manny J. I'm your host, Manny J. This is my special guest, Tree.
Life.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Pleasure having me, bro.
Oh, man, it's love.
Thank you, man.
I just roll my window down. I just roll my window down. I just roll my window down. Hey, 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 hey.
I just roll my window down. I just roll my window. I just roll my window down. Rolling up, keeping up. Another turn-up type of night inside the Audi. Face Elo, busy, empty bottles of Bacardi. Now we creeping up 7th, looking for some shorties. Angel face, devil naughty, wildin' like some Saudis. Whip is looking like a club.